Welcome along. In today's episode, we swap out the battery terminals for something a little more elegant. Let's get it. So obviously we start off by disconnecting the battery. My negative terminal was actually already quite messed up. That's why it was so easy to remove it. So I just disconnected the positive one now. And now what you'll see is I'm really struggling to disassemble the negative terminal. The nut was rounded over and the threads on the bolt were also not helping all that much. They were also quite damaged, so it took quite a while for me to do this. Eventually what I had to do is set it back down on the battery so I can get some more leverage and a better grip on this, and really just crank on that to get this nut off, because there was really no other way for me to do this. And so it took quite a while, but we eventually got there. Okay, so we finally got the nut off. Looks like a tiny little donut the way it's all rounded off. So difficult to remove, but we got it. And so now we're just going to continue disassembling the negative terminal. The reason why I'm doing a voiceover this time around is because on this particular day there was so much construction going on. You would not be able to hear me in the video, so just a side note on that one. At this point we have the positive and negative terminals disassembled. Right here I'm just opening up the new battery terminals that I bought from Buy. I actually got them very cheap. I think it was like 23 rand or something. Very cheap, but good quality stuff. As you can see, it's got different holes, everything from a 0 gauge, 4 gauge, 8 gauge, 12 gauge and even 16 gauge wire accommodated on this battery terminal. It's quite beautiful, and of course, I had to get the gold. Right now I'm trying to cut off the old ends to the old terminals to the old wires. For some reason at this moment I had lost my wire cutter, and this was quite a mission. You see here I'm trying to cut through the original wiring from the car on the positive terminal, and it was just a mission. These things, my wire strippers are so blunt that I just couldn't get it to work, but eventually I found them. I found my wire cutters and it made life so much easier. Alright, with the terminals all removed and all the wires have been cut, we're now just stripping off all the vinyl on all the wires just to get them stripped out so we can assemble them into the new terminals. It's a pretty basic process really. So right here I'm just getting out my Allen keys, just finding the right size because there are different size Allen key screws on the terminal. It's a very simple process. You just strip the wire, unscrew the screw on the terminal, put the wire in, screw it back in place. It's very simple, not that complicated. So I'll spare you from each and every wire, and I'll just do it real quick and we'll resume after that. So at this point I've now assembled just a small 8 gauge wire that I had, and now just setting that aside and trying to plan it out, really trying to decide which wire would go into which port so that I can set up the electrical system the way I need it to be in future. So at this point I had realized I had made a mistake, so I had to then undo that first 8 gauge wire that I had done, set it aside, and I'm going to pick up the other terminal now and show you both of the terminals to show you what I mean. If you look closely, you'll see that there's actually a positive and a negative symbol printed on these. Part of that reason is because the size of the holes are actually not the same between negative and positive. I believe the negative only goes up to about 4 gauge in terms of the biggest hole, whereas the positive side has a 0 gauge maximum size. So something just to note when you get this kit, there is a positive and a negative side to these terminals. So at this point, it's just a simple case of strip the wire, insert it into the terminal, tighten the screw, repeat, strip, insert, tighten, repeat. So I'm just gonna fast forward through this, but you get the idea. It's very simple wiring, it's not all that difficult to do. I'm also not going to show wiring the negative terminal because it's exactly the same process. So you just literally strip, insert, tighten, repeat. So there you go, we're basically done. I'm just now going to cut and insert these 2 accessory wires for 1 or 2 accessories I have in the car, and then I'll be done on the positive side. And like I said, I'll just skip through the negative side, but process is exactly the same. So right here I'm just installing my blue 4 gauge wiring. All those 4 gauge wiring is for a big 3 upgrade, something that you need just to improve your car's electrical system when you have a large sound system or additional electronics in the car. So just doing that, and then we're effectively done. So then right after this, what I'm going to do is throw in some B-roll, let you guys have a closer look and see the final end result. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll ride with you again soon. Cheers.